with Michael Lee Rose Watson, and we're here at one of her classes. And
That's right.
Brian McMahon.
And what are you working on?
Just a throne bowl.
You're trimming your bowl.
Trimming, yeah.
Trimming your bowl.
You have it upside down. You're working on the foot. You're making a nice foot here. And it's looking really nice, Brian.
Get it centered.
Yeah, it's hard to get it centered, isn't it? That's a hard thing.
And we're here with
Tiffany, and I am trimming a bowl for the first time. Kind of terrified.
Is this your first bowl, Tiffany?
It's the first one I've trimmed. I don't think it was the first one I made. The first one I made kind of, so I just got a chunk of it.
Well, this is very cute. She just trimmed the bottom, and she's working on the rim, and it's a very cute little cup bowl.
Little cup. Yeah,
Very
I'm not sure
cute.
what I'm gonna do with it yet, but it'll go somewhere.
Well, we're gonna bisque it, then you're gonna glaze it, and we'll refire it, and
We'll get to go.
it'll be good to go. We have Megan.
Hi.
what are you doing here?
I'm making this little shape. I had to make a clay slab and then so I flattened it all out, that way they'll all be the same size. And then I'm going to cut them out individually and place them together and then fold it all up. And in the end it'll come out looking like this to be like an ornament.
Oh, that's
It looks something like this.
And you stenciled that in there? With the
Yeah, I did. I used this and then I went back over it with a pencil to make sure the lines were cleaner.
Okay, this is a tar paper mold that we made to create a large octahedron geometric form out of clay.
Wow.
And you can see that the tar paper is coming off, but as the edges are getting a little stiffer, it's just about ready to free from this mold. So what everyone is doing right now is making smaller versions so they can eventually make something really mega big.
We're at Craven Community College in the Oringer Hall.
And who is this?
I'm Tim.
And what are you working on?
Well, I'm working on my geometric shape. I don't really know what it's going to be yet, but I'm just kind of drawing on it, see what works.
And you, when did you start this?
Well, not last class, so it's been hardening over the weekend, so it should be hard enough to actually cut into now.
My name is Zach.
And what are you doing here?
I am working on cutting out these geometric shapes.
Yeah, but this has already been fired once.
So you call it green because it hasn't been fired?
That's right. Greenware is just raw clay, and this is bisqueware. And what do you call this, Zach?
I don't have a name for it, but yeah, it's, I guess, in the woods. This is a tree trunk hollowed out, and like a bird nest on the ground, and over here's a broken open egg hatched, and you can see some footprints walking away.
I just touched the clay and it was like, this is heaven. So I decided that I would be a potter, but for 8 years I taught. And I taught special ed, and I made a plan to buy the equipment, do everything I could to be in business before I had to actually be a potter. And so I moved to Bayboro and quit my teaching job and got a bunch of Ceramics Monthly magazines and panicked and cut out all the pots in the magazines and made wallpaper. For the first week, instead of like making plasticell, I panicked because it's, you know, it's intimidating to go from health insurance to, oh my God. But I was fortunate because at the time, which was 81, the economy was good. Art shows were wonderful. I would go to Chicago and New York and Miami, and the art shows were great. And I had a lot of wholesale, and I put work in galleries, and so I was lucky at the time. What I didn't know is that if you're going to do this full time, you need to have some bookkeeping experience, you need to have graphic experience, you need to have lots of business experience as far as classes are concerned. So if anyone's thinking of any kind of career in the arts, get the stuff that is going to make you successful. Because you can make the nicest art in the world, but if you can't figure out how to sell it and market it, you just don't get anywhere. just so you know, when I took those 6 classes, it took me 4 years to learn how to center. And after all these years, I'm not all that good a centerer. Some people can really learn how to center easily. So what I've had to do is to, I center kind of, but then I throw through the unevenness. And as you're learning to center.
Notice her elbows, where are her arms?
Oh yeah,
Next to her body.
Everything touches. I was noticing you trimming, and you want all of your fingers and hands and thumbs and pieces and parts to touch one another. And trimming is a lot easier if you are bracing the tool with your hand, with your other hand. So I'm all hunched over, and I'm leaning on a little bit on the splash pan, but mostly on my legs.
Does anybody want to get closer? Do you want to see what's going on inside that pot?
You can get
Tim,
close.
do you want to get closer, get behind her?
Wherever you want
Anybody,
to
if
stand.
you-
What I'm doing is
Brian,
I'm
do you-
really pressing on the bottom, in and out. If you take a lot of care in your bottom, then it's even. In the beginning, you don't know how thick the bottom is, so
It's in that blue dish, there's a needle tool inside that.
thank
blue.
you. I just had all my tools, I don't know what I did with them. So you take your pin tool and you stick it down in the bottom, and that tells you about how deep your bottom is. So then you can always make it, take some more clay off. You can ask questions while I'm doing this.
Do you compress your bottom?
Yes, I do.
Did you do
I
it so
just did
quickly
it.
no one saw it? Okay.
No, I just talked about compressing the bottom. And what I'm doing is I'm pushing in against the bottom so that it isn't so thick there, because that's an area that gets very thick. Also, in this piece of clay, I have a piece of junk because I pugged all this clay. These are scraps that I pugged. Have you used the pug mill for these students?
Not yet.
Okay.
We're getting there.
It's a great machine. You're so lucky to have one, and it helps you prepare the clay. But if you're not really careful, as you save and collect your scraps, you can get all kinds of things in there that throw off the pot. So now what I'm doing is I am starting to put a belly on the pot. And then I'm going to bring the top in. And this is, it takes a long time to learn how to do this, how to key it in, how to bring it in at the top. So the way you learn is to take a soft piece of clay and to open it up and not try to thin it, just make this arc over the top while the clay is fairly thick until you feel the motion of how it's supposed to go. So what I will do with this piece is to take it home, let it dry out a little bit, and then cut a design into it.